Dating. Before I go there, I've been told that I'm a little bit too excited on some of the videos or hyper. The reason being is I'm trying to convey some of the energy and the excitement onto you so you kind of get excited and start seeing the possibility and start doing stuff. And because all of the topics I'm sharing here are dear to my heart, and I really try to convey them not just in words, but also times in terms of energy and kind of put things in motion on your side if you want to engage in those things. But I'm going to try to do it a little bit calmer. Dating. So dating, if you're not in a relationship, is obviously something that's on everybody's minds. We're social creatures. We don't want to go through life ourselves. And so finding that right person is obviously full of the challenges, and also as older we get, the harder it gets because we are more certain of what we want and also more narrow-minded in terms of deviating from that. But I want to talk about specifically the process of dating, as in like going on a date, especially a first date. And if this is a person that you're excited about, and hopefully, you only go on dates that, or you could call it a meeting or a first meeting with someone that you are excited about or that you see there's potential, then we have this kind of tendency to kind of lower ourselves. Feel like, oh, am I good enough? All these kind of worries start coming up. Am I good enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I intelligent? Am I going to be funny enough? Whatever the questions are. And especially if it's someone we like, we will feel that person might be higher, and so we need to kind of worry about how we come across. And that is exactly what we shouldn't do, because that's exactly gonna put us down and make us less attractive. The less confident we are in ourselves, the less other people will want to believe it. So I think of, for example, when you have a business or a startup idea and you try to sell it to investors, if you don't believe in the idea, why would others believe in it? And people pick up on that. It's not what you say, it's how you say it and how you show up, right? If you go into a date like this, and I mean not just physically like this, but more like because you feel like this, you will also show up like this. The other person, you see that immediately, the confidence level, right? Think about when you meet people, you see where they are in life. Maybe not consciously, but you pick up on that, and that will kind of trigger how you act on them. So if you go on a date and you feel the other person is like, wow, this is the most amazing girl or the most amazing guy, and I don't know whether I'm good enough or I can impress the person, then you're gonna lower your self-esteem. As a result, you're gonna show up differently. The other person is gonna dominate the situation, and then you go into a negative spiral where it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse, and the other person is gonna be less and less and less impressed. So what you wanna do is the opposite. You wanna say, and the best way of doing that is and convincing and really then embodying that belief as well, because it's not just about the mind and saying like, of course I'm good enough, of course, like I don't even know that guy or girl, like whether maybe they have all these, I only see that perfection. So the first thing of doing that is by looking at it as a casual encounter, meeting a friend, a new friend, someone that you meet for the first time, but it's just getting to know each other. It's a bit like dogs meeting, they're sniffing each other out. So that's how you look at it. This is not a date, and you don't put the heaviness, oh my God, this is the person I'm gonna marry and how am I gonna show up? All of that just puts you in a negative spiral and then makes sure the date is not gonna succeed. So you wanna do the opposite. Just think of it like, you can go even to the extreme of thinking like, this is my little brother type of that I'm gonna meet. And this is how you treat the person in a playful way. Maybe that's a bad association, as in if you think about that as your little brother, it's not very, attractive. But think of it as, a friend that someone you're really comfortable with, and you're meeting that person and you're just having a conversation. And stop thinking about yourself, like as in like, oh, am I holding the glass the right way? Am I holding the fork, knife? What is the other person thinking? What is everybody else is thinking? No one else is thinking nothing. It's only you worrying about stuff because everybody's busy with their own stuff. And even the guy or the girl that you're meeting is worried about, or not worried, but they are thinking about their own thing. So let the world do what it does, and you don't worry about yourself. You just show up. And that's just gonna change the trajectory of the conversation, because that will convey a level of confidence that you have in a date that makes you more attractive and actually makes the other person, not less confident, but on a relative basis. And so you kind of, when you previously were like worried about whether you're, and I don't mean literally good enough, but it feels like, oh, he or she is perfect and I'm not, and or maybe not good enough, etc. that just levels the playing field, and as a result kind of, you know, puts you on the same level or even higher. And so now the other person will be more challenged to show up, which again will make so you create a positive dynamic on your side, and things, and hopefully on both sides. And so things start, you know, you want to have obviously ease, you want to make this fun. Like a date is not supposed to be tense. People always say like first dates are awful. They don't have to be awful. We make them awful by putting so much expectations and worries into them, when you can just go on it. Like you just go on a date and say like, oh, I'm meeting someone, you or someone that I met once or someone that I met on an app. It doesn't matter. You just show up and you see how things go, right? There's no pressure. You don't put any pressure on you. It's just playful, and then, you know, you start conversing, and also you can obviously challenge the other person. That's the problem when we think we're not enough or the other person is more perfect than we are, that we kind of put them up on a pedestal, and then we kind of look up and like, oh, like, you know, what should I say next, etc. No, just be yourself. That's the best way of showing up. Have fun, engage, and then that's going to make you more attractive. Not only is that going to take out the worry, but it's going to take out this negative effect of you pulling yourself down and thereby making yourself less attractive, but it's going to actually do the opposite. It's going to push you up, and the other person will maybe think, oh, they're so chilled about everything. They're so cool. There's no tension. It will make the whole date more playful. And as part of that, you also want to not worry so much about, I'm going to look in the camera, I'm going to look at the camera. I know that delivery is one of my biggest challenges with these videos. I'm very confident, or I think these are really, you know, these are important topics, and I guess if you're still on here at 7 minutes, you agree. But I realize that the delivery is something like eye contact and me maybe being too hyper. But yeah, and that's going to transform. So you don't look at it like this is the date and this is going to be the guy or girl that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. And again, I'm polarizing here, taking extremes. I think most of us don't think that when we go on a date. But that's how you want to approach it. It's just a meeting a new person, getting to know that person. Maybe that becomes your new best friend. Maybe it does become your husband or wife, but you just don't know that. And what worsen is we often project our own desires, needs, and fears. What do I mean by that? When we put ourselves down and kind of are so worried about something, whether that's a date or something else, that means also we put a lot of projection onto the other person. Why do we think the other person is perfect? Why do we think this is so important, this date? I assume, you had many other dates before, so what makes this so special? And the reason is we often project our own, and this now goes, this is a whole other topic, but our own kind of pains and worries, etc. And we think that's our salvation. Maybe that guy or girl is going to make us happily ever after, when at the moment we might not be happy. So in the worst place you are, the more you're going to project onto the other person, and this is what you will expect from a date, and that's then going to make them more perfect than they actually are or seem, and then that puts you down, and as a result you go into a you're not going to show up as easily and yourself the way you are, but you're going to be this kind of like worrying person, and that is going to then create a negative spiral, and you're going to show up worse. It's going to make the date go worse. That's going to then make you feel even worse about yourself, and then you're going to show up even worse in the next day, etc. And you go down and down. You don't want to go there. You want to go the opposite. You're like, this is just a meeting. This person, what I know about him or her is really great. I really fancy that person. Who knows where it goes, but who knows also, all the shadows in this person and all their own worries and challenges. And so I'm just going to show up. This is a meeting. I don't expect anything. If he or she is boring, there's, I can do something else at that location. I can, stop and meet someone else that evening. So we just take all the pressure out, and we just, it's just meeting a person. It's this one evening or afternoon in your life, and it might change your life, but this is not how you go in. You just go in and you are yourself and you're having fun. And if you do that, then life and dating will never be the same again.